Alex, what did you witness up close in that 4-2 win? What stood out to you the most in that one?
Hey guys. Yeah, just the start again to jump on them like they did, but they did it in sort of a different way. Less slug and some heady baseball for the guys. I mean, Corbin Carroll to work a walk after he was down in the count, and then Ketel Marte dropping a bunt. That was something that I'm sure nobody saw coming. Tommy Pham gets a single, and all of a sudden they're off to the races. And again, just another moment there. Just Tommy Pham stealing second to avoid the double play, and then Gabriel Moreno hits a ground ball out that ends up getting another run. So all of those ended up counting because the Dodgers created so many opportunities to score runs throughout the game. Ultimately, the D-backs limited those chances, but to get out to another great start and play from ahead, unlike the Brewers series, it gave them some wiggle room, and they were able to use it.
Talking with our D-backs insider, Alex Weiner, here on the Arizona Sports NLDS postgame special. Alex, what did Torey Lovullo have to say about tonight's performance, and set us up for a possible Game 3 starter as well?
Yeah, the Game 3 starter is going to be Brandon Pfaadt. So it looks like it'll be Lance Lynn versus Brandon Pfaadt. We'll see what kind of leash both of them have. I know pregame, Dave Roberts said that Ryan Pepio, their rookie right-hander, could be in a role in some capacity in that game. So we'll see if they piggyback him or if there's just a short leash on Lynn. Obviously with Pfaadt, his last start, they didn't let him go particularly deep into it. So we'll see exactly what they have in store for that. It's funny post game here because, it's either go to the clubhouse or go to the interview room, but then the interview room, it's going to be, live streamed and all that stuff, and all the quotes will come out anyway. So once the clubhouse saw what some of the players were saying after the game, so didn't actually get to hear from Torey, but ultimately I went back and listened to it. But yeah, to jump out in front like they were able to do, and then to get the pitching performances that they got from Zach Gallen, whom Torey Lovullo took out probably earlier than a lot of people expected at only 84 pitches, but with a couple of guys on base and with a bunch of lefties coming up, and there was a strategy to sort of empty out their bench, which is what happened when they brought in Saul Frank and all those lefties turned to righties because they pinch hit for all of them. So there was, some thinking there. It ended up working out okay at the end because only one run scored. But that at the time, especially after Saul Frank walked Chris Taylor, it gave him a little dicey there.
I'm curious because you got to talk to some of them afterwards. What was kind of the overall vibe or consensus, or how did the players respond to some of the questions being asked? They're now up 2-0. Maybe some people didn't expect them to be here. What was kind of the response that you got when talking to them after the game?
Yeah, they're excited. I think Tommy Pham said that, you go on the road just trying to claim home field advantage again, try to split and, take that home field back to Chase and try to win a series there. But to grab two of them was huge. And now they go back and face field. The D-backs already announced that it's going to be a sellout for Game 3.
That's
a
huge.
Chance to sweep the Los Angeles Dodgers after a moth just flew into my eye on the field.
You're doing great, Alex. Don't worry.
Live radio. But, just the excitement to come back home. They haven't played a home game in a while. So after taking the first two in Milwaukee and sweeping them, taking the first two in Los Angeles, I think there's a real excitement to go home and continue to play with a disciplined approach and potentially get this thing wrapped up sooner than anybody would have thought.
Our D-backs insider, Alex Weiner, is joining us live from L.A., where he just witnessed the 4-2 win in Game 2 for the Diamondbacks over the Dodgers. Alex, let's talk about Evan Longoria. He ends up leaving the game after getting hit on the hand, it looked like. He probably would have left the game for a running replacement, whether he was fine or not. But did we get any sort of update on Evan Longoria after the game today?
Yeah, the x-rays came back negative, which is good. It was on his hand. In the clubhouse, he had a pretty big wrap on it, but Torey told the press conference room that he will be day to day. So everything's negative there. So that's a good sign, and they'll get tomorrow off, and so it gives them a little bit of time to recover.
Just a general question: who on this roster has been the biggest surprise to you 4 games into this postseason run?
Biggest surprise? Ooh, that's a good question, because they've been getting production pretty much everywhere. Everybody's doing something. Like even Geraldo Perdomo at the bottom of the order, a couple of sack bunts today. He walked. He had a couple of huge at-bats in the Brewer series. Obviously, the top of the order's done its thing, but that wouldn't really qualify for this question. So I don't know. I guess maybe Evan Longoria's defense from the Brewers series was probably the most eye-opening. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's any one particular player. I think we've, seen them all get it done at a lot of parts of the season. Maybe Andrew Saalfrank, just because he's never been on a stage like this before, and to come in such big moments in both the Brewers series and then again tonight. And, today it didn't go perfectly. He walked Chris Taylor, he gave up that bouncer up the middle where Cattell made a heck of a play to potentially save a run. But then to come back, fall down 3-1, and then strike out James Outman, that was a huge out. Then they take him out and Ryan Thompson takes care of the rest. So, yeah, I don't know if it's one particular guy. It's been a collective effort, and that's what it's taken. And, I mean, that's got to be a major point of pride for this team at this point.
Alex, finish this sentence for me. The Diamondbacks will clinch on Wednesday if blank.
If we see the same or similar approaches that we've seen in the first two games, just disciplined at bats, getting their pitches. I mean, even today, when the bats seemingly went quiet for a big parts of this game, there were still some pretty hard hit balls and some pretty solid at bats. So I think just keeping that approach, I think that'll be huge, just collectively up and down the lineup. We'll see what they get at a Fott, but ultimately this bullpen has been so good that even if they have a short leash on him and it turns into what game one of the Brewer series was, they have the guys who have been, stepping up to the plate in that regard. So I think as long as, the pitching depth and continues to do what it's been doing and, the lineup approach stays the same, it's going to be a pretty big opportunity to go up against, the Dodgers not throwing out one of their top two guys, at Chase Field with a chance to close them out.
All right, last one from me, another wide view kind of a question. What do you think, or what have you seen has been the biggest difference for this team as they are now versus what they were heading into the month of August a couple of months ago? What do you think the biggest difference has been for them?
I think the most stark change has definitely been bullpen from where they were in August. Obviously, the offense has taken a major step up, but when you look at where the bullpen was a couple of months ago versus where it is now, it's totally different. And the personnel's a little different too. Paul Sewald has settled into his role and has been very good as the closer and got a 1-2-3 save, which is not something we've really seen from him.
It's a miracle
since he came over to the Diamondbacks. So that's huge. Obviously, Ryan Thompson getting him in the mix at the end of August after he was cut by the Rays. I mean, it made a huge difference. He gave up one earned run, I believe, his entire, run in the final month of the season with the Diamondbacks. Andrew Saalfrank gives him a left-handed option who's been their number one left-handed option out of the bullpen down the stretch and in these playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the guy that they've turned to. So, just adding that as a depth and putting other guys into more comfortable situations, like, Kevin Ginkel penned into the eighth inning role, and he's been terrific there. Some other guys can come in earlier, like we saw, in that Brewer series. So, yeah, I think that would probably be the biggest change from where they were at. And it's huge because you need a good bullpen in these postseason games to lock it down in high pressure situations, and they were able to do it.
Talking with our D-backs insider, Alex Weiner. He is live out in L.A. where he just watched Game 2. Alex, it's weird to say this, but even though the Diamondbacks have 4 straight victories in the postseason, Game 3 on Wednesday night will be their first home game of this playoff stretch. Talk to me about Chase Field and what that means to the players to play in the postseason in their home ballpark, where the fans haven't had a chance to watch postseason baseball for 6 years.
Yeah, they had to get that, get that series win against the Brewers done in order to have a chance with all 3 of those games. It ended up being 2 games, but in theory, all 3 of those games being on the road. Yeah, it's going to be a big deal. I mean, there hasn't been playoff baseball in the Valley since 2017 when they had the wild card game and then the final game of that Dodgers series. And the players are excited. Corbin Carroll said he was excited. He said it feels like it's been a long time since playing home games. And so, yeah, it'll be it should be a pretty ruckus crowd. I'm curious what the split will be as far as the fans, but that'll be a fun atmosphere and one we haven't really seen at Chase Field much. So, it's exciting. It's very exciting.
I came up with a hashtag, and I want to workshop it by you before we say adios. Hashtag block out the blue. What do you think?
I don't know. I feel like we could workshop that a little bit.
Okay. All
on the air a little bit.
Rejected.
I mean, I
I think
only
we
had
could
a
do
little.
better. I think we could do better.
Okay,
I think
well,
it's a good place to start.
we can certainly do better. If the Diamondbacks are winning 4 out of 4 playoff games, certainly we can do better when it comes to hashtags. Alex, we will
If Corbin Carroll can get on base more than half the times he comes up, you can get a better hashtag.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
Corbin
that's
Carroll.
fair.
Yeah. All right, I got to step up to Corbin Carroll levels. Alex, we will circle back with you again on Wednesday. Maybe we'll be talking about an upcoming Game 4. Maybe we'll be talking about an upcoming Game 1. Who knows? Safe travels back to the Valley, all right?
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
All right, that's Alex Weiner, who does a fantastic job covering the Diamondbacks for us at Arizona Sports. Also is one half of the Ain't No Thing podcast with you, Steve. that we
Yeah, and
do
he
here at
finally
Arizona
gets to
Sports.
come home. He's been on the road because the team's been on the road.
He's been in Milwaukee, he's been in L.A., and now he finally gets to come back to Arizona, and I'm sure he's relieved.
When I hung up with him after Game 2 on Wednesday in Milwaukee, I was like, "All right, see you back at work tomorrow." And he was like, "No, man, I'm straight off to L.A. Like, there's no time to waste here." Fantastic. I'm glad we have somebody like Alex who can go and cover the games live for us because it's just a whole different ballgame being there in person, and we really appreciate that as well.